I mean,
how would you compare your 2 week data set to something else if the turtles instantly went and started grazing on it after 2 weeks? What other trials would you do?
so the question is like, what would I do if the turtles, as soon as I left, they started grazing?
Yeah, as soon as you remove the rebar cage, they
Okay,
started grazing.
Okay, if that was like a consistent result throughout all the study sites I would do, I'd leave on the cage for, let's say, another 3 days. And then if they continue to graze, or actually, scratch that. From the research I would see on, since I go back every day and see if it's been grazed, I'd go along until it just stopped being grazed. And on that day of the 51-day cycle, that's when I would leave the cage on until a couple days before that to see if it was just like one turtle needed some extra food that one day. And so like from that, I like, let's say I'd leave the cage on for 32 days or something for each one. And then from that, I would see if that's the same result, that it's just 2 weeks was too short for the turtles to stop grazing, and if it was too long, and this could completely vary because like the anthropogenic impacts could be like very different in different spots. So I mean, it really varies.
Cool. Another question I have is, how do you know that you're putting your cage down at the start of the 51-day cycle?
Um, hmm, actually, um, how would I know if I put it down on the 51-day cycle? So what I would try to do is go to locations that are freshly grazed and consistently grazed through my GPS locator first. So that's where it comes through. Like I have to spend a lot of work before I like get the correct sites to put it down, and then from that I'd go there and see if it's really fresh, like pretty much all the way cleaned out. And then I'd put the rebar on a place that are like really just brand new seagrass. But I have not researched that or done enough thought on that to really be able to give you an accurate prediction or how I would do that.
Cool.
There's a really cool thing where you can tell the difference between grazed and ungrazed patches because they are literally just completely clean.
Yeah.
So if you did do something like that, it would work.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. You got some questions?
Yeah. I was just going to say there's something you could do maybe with like an acoustic receiver or something that sent off like a bing every time the turtle came close.
Yeah, that's what I meant by like, so that's
what I
where
just
I'd
put
leave.
like a question mark after because I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, so that I'd leave a camera and the locator, so that Bing or that what you were discussing would set off the camera to shoot, like it'd be a motion camera, and then to tell me if any turtles were going by it, and then it also set off a Bing for the GPS recorder and the tracker to let me know that the turtle was coming by in case the camera did not capture the turtle, as well as it also tell me to go back to that site the next day.
Okay, cool. Something else I was going to ask was, how are you going to do like your replicates and control areas? So like how are you going to be able to use, because you need more than one place, like what are your replicates going to be?
So what I was thinking is I'd have 3 qualifications. So there'd be a low anthropogenic impact area, a medium anthropogenic impact area, and a high anthropogenic impact area. And then from that, I would group them together to be like a Venn diagram type situation.
Yeah.
And like from that, I take, these are obviously the ones that are like most average together. But like, so I first measure the ones on the lower anthropogenic impact, and then I'd measure the ones on the higher anthropogenic impacts, and then the mediums. And then from that, I would correlate an X factor for predicted coverage for each seed grade within that area. And then from that, I can put them into here and create an average for a worldwide average. But from these, from lower I could get an accurate prediction for each anthropogenic level of nutrients going into that certain area and creek.
Awesome. And my last one was, do you know where excess phosphorus comes from? Because you mentioned that.
Is it where phosphorus comes from?
Yeah.
So phosphorus comes from the runoff of sewage coming off from humans up creek, and it also comes from rainwater washing it down from the streets and like manure and fertilizer in the ground, and it washes it into the creeks.
Perfect.
Cool.
I don't think I've got any other questions.
No.
Cool. That was awesome.
Cool.